Caitlin Clark is furious heading into Game 3 of the WNBA semifinals against the Las Vegas Aces. And who can blame her? The Indiana Fever didn't just lose Game 2, they had it ripped out of their hands. This wasn't about being outclassed or simply overmatched. No, this was about the officials taking control of the narrative, tilting the balance, letting the game unravel into something that looked less like professional basketball and more like a demolition derby. 41 fouls were called in total, 16 in a single quarter. Players hit the floor on nearly every possession, bodies colliding, momentum crushed under the weight of constant whistles. The Fever weren't just fighting Las Vegas, they were fighting the stripes. And the outcome reflected that. For Clark, it's becoming a familiar story. She admitted she's been on the ground more in this series than she can remember. But instead of dwelling on frustration, she framed it in one simple line: "We just keep getting back up." Those words don't sound like a complaint, they sound like defiance. And for Indiana, that defiance might be the exact edge they need. The truth is, Game 1 set the stage for this collision. Indiana didn't just steal a win on the road, they sent a message. They walked into Las Vegas's fortress, home of the defending champions, and dismantled them with precision. Kelsey Mitchell played the game of her life, dropping 34 points with an arsenal of deep threes, sharp drives, and unflinching poise. The Fever played disciplined basketball, controlling the tempo, smothering A'ja Wilson into one of her worst shooting nights of the season. 6 makes on 22 attempts. It was a stat line that looked more like Angel Reese on an off night than the reigning MVP. Indiana swarmed, rotated, and stayed calm while keeping fouls to a minimum. In Vegas's own house, that should have been impossible. And yet the Fever pulled it off, blowing out the Aces by 16 and forcing the league to pay attention. That was the high. But then came Game 2, where the pendulum swung hard in the other direction. Vegas wasn't just trying to bounce back, they were desperate to reclaim their aura. From the opening tip, they abandoned finesse for brute force. Wilson muscled through defenders. Jackie Young collided with anyone in her path. Cutters found themselves blindsided by screens that looked more like tackles. The referees allowed it, hiding behind the phrase playoff physicality. But when a game racks up 41 fouls, when a single quarter sees 16 stoppages, that's not toughness. That's chaos disguised as competition. The Fever's rhythm evaporated under the constant interruptions. A team built to run, cut, and flow was reduced to broken half-court sets. Steph White, the head coach, said it plainly. "It's hard for us to find flow when there's a foul called every 10 seconds. That's not strategy, that's sabotage." And while Indiana stumbled, the Aces feasted at the free throw line, piling up points while the Fever's fast break sat shackled on the sideline. No player embodied this war more than Lexie Hull. Already nursing a back injury from Game 1, she had no business being out there. Most players would have sat, but Hull strapped in, taped up, and took the floor. Vegas targeted her relentlessly. Every rotation, every screen, every rebound attempt came with extra contact. She hit the deck over and over again, grimacing in pain but refusing to fold. And instead of breaking, she punished Vegas the only way she knew how: burying threes. 5 of them. She tied the franchise playoff record in one of the gutsiest performances the Fever have seen in years. Hull wasn't just playing hurt. She was playing angry. Every shot a reminder that Indiana wouldn't be bullied out of the series. And yet, box score painted a different story. A'ja Wilson walked away with 25 points, 9 rebounds, and a highlight reel stat line that ESPN plastered across headlines. But for those who actually watched, the truth was obvious. Wilson didn't dominate with skill, she bulldozed her way to whistles Indiana never got. Contact that sent Fever players crashing went unnoticed. The same moves on the other end were rewarded. Fans saw it. Players saw it. Even Becky Hammon, Vegas's coach, admitted afterwards she wasn't thrilled with how rough the game became. Think about that. Her team benefited. Her team won. And yet she still couldn't deny the chaos. Aaliyah Boston lived that reality more than anyone. On paper, 10 points and 13 rebounds looks like a solid night. In reality, it was survival. Every rebound meant absorbing elbows, shoulders, or flat-out shoves. Every post-up turned into a wrestling match. Boston didn't just compete, she endured, and somehow, she still held her composure, proving again why she's the anchor of this young team. Then there was Odyssey Sims. With Mitchell blanketed, shoved and face-guarded out of rhythm, Sims became the engine. She scored 18, often dribbling through double teams and absorbing hacks just to get a clean look. Every bucket was a small act of rebellion against a game that refused to let Indiana. That's what makes Game 2 so maddening. Indiana didn't get outplayed. They got dragged into a mud fight and held under until the whistle blew. The Aces didn't expose the Fever's weaknesses. They leaned on foul-heavy chaos, and the referees allowed it. That isn't proof of dominance, it's proof of desperation. Because here's the thing, if Las Vegas needed 41 fouls, endless stoppages and home court whistles just to scrape out a win, what happens when the series shifts to Indiana? Gainbridge Fieldhouse is not just another arena, it's a cauldron. When 17,000 fans pack the stands, every run feels seismic. Every defensive stand feeds into a roar that rattles opponents. And every missed call gets magnified by a wall of sound officials can't pretend not to hear. We've already seen it this year. Opponents have crumbled in the fourth quarter because the Fever crowd refused to let up. Now, after watching Game 2 unfold, those same fans are burning with fury. Kelsey Mitchell was silenced in Game 2, held to just 13 points after her 34-point explosion in the opener, but you can feel the anger building in her game. At Gainbridge, with the crowd chanting her name and the memory of constant fouls fresh in her mind, that anger is likely to transform into fireworks. Boston will once again battle in the trenches, but this time, every shove. Every elbow will echo through the arena,